now, firing the music.
I have never wished on hope, didn't need a telescope to see where I am going. I have never been the one trying hard to hold my tongue. It's my stereo. And one day I'll stand with the crown on my head like a god. Yeah, like a god. With every step, no, I won't second guess what I want. I wanna be like.
Welcome everyone to the Omie D and Fish show. I am Rodney Fisher, and we're coming to you guys live again on ncxgame.com for another episode of our show. And these viewpoints are coming from the south side of the Trinity River. So let's go ahead and get our show started. Let's bring on the man of the hour, the guy you guys have all tuned in to listen to, the one whose opinions are always controversial, entertaining, and of course made for radio. None other than Mr. Omie D.
Man, I heard we're going to talk about some interesting stuff tonight, man, and some stuff that's going to be controversial at some point. And you know me, I might let some controversial things fly. But, you know, I'm the kind of person that likes to put every opinion out there because, you know, if we put it all on the table, even in the world of sports, we can learn a lot.
We can.
Shout outs to all my peeps checking me out on Twitter. What up, Twitter peoples?
and last week we spent a lot of time talking about the college football playoff because that was kind of the big topic then. But we got a lot more stuff to talk about tonight. We've got everything from the Cowboys. We've got the Mavericks. We got NBA talk, college football. We got a lot of stuff to get into. So I want to make sure you guys join us, and also make sure you go back and download some of our past shows on ntxgame.com or go to iTunes, Twitter, everything, Spreaker. You can go to tune in everywhere and kind of get the show. So make sure you tell someone that you listen to us and also spread the love about the show. So now we got that commercial kind of out of the way. I want to address first this nice blue and silver hat you have on there.
Look.
For those that can't see, you know, maybe you should describe this hat and kind of your feelings behind wearing this hat after what happened on Sunday.
All right. Well, the hat that he's describing, and I'll take a picture if you want to see the hat. I'm going to post a picture on my Twitter at the777kid. It is a on the field Dallas Cowboys hat. It's the blue one with the silver D for Dallas on the front of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I'm very familiar with that particular style of hat.
Just in case everyone else is not familiar with this, you know, some people check us out from different locations around the world. I'm posting it on Twitter.
But Cowboy fans would know what that hat means.
Yeah, Cowboy fans would know what this hat means completely. So I, as of course, last week on the show, I did say I still have faith that the Cowboys are going to make the Super Bowl.
Okay.
And everybody knows that I'm a Denver Broncos fan, but I like the Cowboys too. Okay. You know, fault me for loving two teams. Mm-hmm. You know, geez, I'm human. Okay, I can love more than two teams. Love only one woman, but you can love two teams. Okay. You just can't like the Redskins and the Cowboys. You know, I got an AFC team and an NFC team. Okay. I got a National League team and an American League team. I like. Sense. Okay. You know,
I can go for that.
But this is the home team, so I always pull for the home team. But like I said last week, all of the Cowboy fans were all, "It's over. Yeah. We have no chance."
I was one of them.
And that was the narrative at this point last week.
Well, you're insinuating that something has changed your mind because, far as I know, they lost this past Sunday. They lost bad.
I'm completely aware of the loss.
They're 4-9.
They're 4-9.
2 games behind all the other teams in their in the NFC East that all won on Sunday.
How many games are left?
There are 3 games left.
And they're 2 games behind.
Correct.
So that gives them the opportunity to be 1 game ahead and take the division and win the playoffs. Now,
please explain yourself because you're talking about this Cowboys team that looks so bad. Matt Castle looked bad. Dez Bryant looked bad. Everything looked bad. So you're telling me that team's going to win 3 straight games?
Here's the thing that I'm saying. How come everybody's saying the Cowboys look bad and it couldn't have been that the Green Bay Packers are heating up and starting to get playoff ready themselves. You know, I'm not saying that the Cowboys didn't look bad. Look, they gave up almost a whole trip back to Dallas in rushing yards. Something has to be stopped on the defensive side of the ball with giving up that many rushing yards. But I will say this much. I said this last week. We don't have to win this game at Green Bay. It's not one of those games that I was really, really, really worried about anyway. I honestly expected to lose at Green Bay without Tony Romo in this situation. But the next 3 games we have coming up, Bills, Jets, Redskins, all those are W's. All those are W's.
They're going to beat the Bills, the Jets, and the Redskins.
Oh, yeah. The Bills are fading down the stretch. As always, what the Bills do. Jets will be the Jets. We never see them in the playoffs. If they do, they lose first round. And then the Redskins, yeah, they're playing okay, but they're the Redskins. They're going to lose. So the Cowboys will finish 1 game ahead of everybody. They will win the NFC East. This hat will be relevant. Liz will be upset that they put all the hats on sale for 30%. Big shout outs if you want to go get you a Cowboys paraphernalia.
Already.
Yeah, 30% off. The Liz is giving up on you too. But you know what, Dallas Cowboys? Hey, big shout outs to my homeboy Rocket Ishmael too. Shout outs to him. He's listening. Real Cowboy fan. You never give up until it's completely over and we're taking first round draft picks.
I am a Cowboy fan. But I am a realist. I am a realist.
You're a real Cowboys fan.
I am a real
You
Cowboys
do
fan.
everything that Cowboy fans do. When you get down and out, you want to get ready. You want to fire Jason Garrett. You want to get rid of Tony Romo. But apparently 2 weeks ago, Tony Romo was Jesus in an arm sling because y'all expected him to come back and take you guys to the Super Bowl. But now it's just like, yeah, Jerry Jones is calling for Jason Garrett's job. Garrett needs to lose his job after going up to Green Bay and giving up 300 and something yards in rushing. You know, it's like, really, all of this sounds just like the Cowboys fans. Now, here's what I want to hear. Okay, today is the 15th of December.
Correct.
3 games from now, so the beginning of January, we'll know if the Cowboys are in the playoffs.
Right.
I want everyone out there, listen to your local sports radio after you check out our podcast and listen to the narrative about the Cowboys and how they're out of it. And then as the weeks roll on, if the Cowboys win against the Bills, which I'm predicting they will.
They play the Jets first.
I'm predicting they'll beat the Jets too. They're going to win these last 3 games. Okay. I'm predicting 3 W's. Watch how the narrative across the board changes, and some of these local people are going to be like, you know what? I'm really kind of feeling that the Cowboys got a chance here.
Let me ask you a question.
I mean, they got a chance to go to the playoffs. Carolina's going to win everything.
Let me ask you a serious question about this Cowboys team that I've been watching just like you have. You still have faith in. I like I said last week, said they're going to lose every game the rest of the season. I said at the end of the season, Jason Garrett's going to get fired because no NFL coach should keep his job after losing that many games from a team that's supposed to have all that talent that y'all want to put together. But tell me, what in this Cowboys team do you see as like the highlight of the team that's going to carry them to 3 straight wins? Because they haven't put together 3 straight wins all season.
Well, there's one.
So what part of this team
there's
do you
one
see
statistical
that's really,
factor.
really
they haven't done it yet, so there's a possibility. I mean, what do I see? Do I see that Matt Castle is going to become this great quarterback?
Apparently you do.
No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is this. There is an opportunity. There is a chance for this team to beat 3 teams at the end of the season. Right now, these teams are not the Denver Broncos, they're not the Carolina Panthers, and they're not the New England Patriots. One of those NFC East teams, I think this week, I think it's the Giants this week, has to play the Panthers.
Yes.
And the Panthers are still fighting for home field advantage.
Right.
So they're going to throw up. Cam Newton's going to dab about 4 times.
Okay.
On that one. So that's the Giants are going to lose.
Okay.
And do we need to pull up the schedules so I can tell you everybody? It doesn't really matter. I'm going to tell you like this.
It's going to happen.
The Giants are going to lose their next 3 games. The Redskins are going to lose their next 3 games. And the Sheagles are going to lose their next 3 games. It is going to be.
And the Cowboys are going to win all 3.
And the Cowboys are going to win all 3.
Wow.
Or they're going to win 2, and they're going to win the division because they'll be leading the division because one of those wins is going to be against the Redskins.
So you're saying, okay, let's backtrack. So
it'll be a 4-way tie.
All 3 teams other than the Cowboys, the Redskins, the Giants, and the Eagles are all going to lose all 3 games.
Yeah.
And the Cowboys are going to win 2.
They're either going to lose all 3, or everybody's going to be tied up at the end of the season, and the Cowboys are going to take it because they beat Washington twice and they have the best division record.
Wow.
Playoffs. And the Cowboys will be in the playoffs.
Man,
and then everybody's going to be like, Tony Romo's coming back and we're facing off against Cam Newton. We're going to get him this time. That's not going to happen. Because if anybody that's facing off against Cam Newton in this playoffs is pretty much going to be decimated. I don't see an NFC team right now. And a lot of people say the Cardinals. I mean, even if the Cowboys draw the Cardinals first round, bro, we have a terrible record against the Cardinals.
Right.
Yeah, I would not want to play the Cardinals first round.
Let's talk about this Panthers team that you're bringing up.
They're
undefeated.
Hey,
they're undefeated, right?
Yeah.
And they're going for home field advantage, like you said. So they're going to play this game against the Giants.
Yep.
So how important is it for Cam and his team to really put together an undefeated season or rest some of these guys before the playoffs start? They're going to have a first round bye. They win the next game.
An undefeated season is not as important as a Super Bowl.
Okay.
You're not a Patriots fan.
So you would rest Cam?
Yeah, I would rest Cam. You're not a Patriots fan. You know, who is going?
If you rest him the last game, there's 2 weeks off.
Okay.
Before he's going to play.
Okay.
He's going to have the first round bye.
He spent a whole offseason off and a preseason off, and he pretty much clowned since then. I don't. Right now, I think what's important is that if Cam Newton is able to practice with his team, and the defense and that's another thing. The defense has to stay sharp. Normally when a team comes off a long rest like that, along with a first round bye, the defense is who's rusty. They're not up to game speed. So what I would do if I was Coach Rivera, I believe that's who's the coach of the Panthers, right. I would sparingly, I would sparingly use my defensive guys. I probably wouldn't even put my cornerbacks in for more than 1 or 2 series per quarter.
Well, they've got one of the best cornerbacks of the year so far.
I would put him in like 1 or 2 series per quarter and rest him. Just to kind of keep him a little bit edgy on game speed, but then take him out. Like, you don't want to risk anybody getting hurt. Like, right now, the Carolina Panthers with a Cam Newton, and that's a huge X factor that they have to have, looks like an unstoppable team. Well, I don't even see the Patriots doing anything to beat them.
I really think that going undefeated is important.
Why?
Well, because
you a Patriots fan?
You owe it to your team. You owe it to the fans. You owe it to everybody that even likes a Panther in the wild. You know that everybody to go after this undefeated, this the undefeated season is like the holy grail of NFL football.
What do you get for it?
It's only happened one time.
What do you get?
One time. It's only happened one time. And you have a chance, a legitimate chance, to be the only other team to do that, to be a legendary team, to be up there with the 72 Dolphins. I mean, you have a chance to do that. You have to do it.
You go
play
undefeated.
Hard every game.
You go undefeated, and you win the Super Bowl, and you get no more money than you would if you won the Super Bowl and only lost one game.
But why does it got to be money motivated?
Because what the hell else are you winning the Super Bowl for?
There's only one other team that's done it. There's only been one.
So what do you get? Do you get? Are you gonna? Who was on the 72 Dolphins? Who was the running back of the 72 Dolphins? Who's the quarterback of the 72 Dolphins?
I'm sure people know that. I'm sure anyone knows.
It's not important. Who won? Who did they win the Super Bowl though?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you remember.
Yes.
You don't remember who's on the team. You don't remember all the people on the team. You just remember they won the Super Bowl.
But that team that's a legendary team though.
Just like I said in the beginning of the season with the Cowboys, your goal was to win the division, win the championship, and then win the Super Bowl. That's what the goal pattern is. Okay? That's what it is. But now we're talking about an undefeated streak. So you're going to risk getting someone injured because you're going to have teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars that have nothing to play for and have nothing to lose, and they're going to be going out there to end your season. and not saying that someone's going to be out there playing maliciously.
They're going to go out there and want to be the undefeated team.
Yeah, and then you're going to lose Cam Newton, and you're going to be stupid, and they're going to be like, you're the worst coach since Les Miles.
You have to do it.
Come on, Les Miles.
You have to do it.
Come on, Les Miles.
You owe it to NFL fans to do that.
What do you owe to NFL fans? They already bought season tickets and jerseys.
There's only been one team to do it. This could be the second team.
So we buy Cam Newton's undefeated NFL season jersey. That was what the NFL owed me, the ability to go spend money on more crap to commemorate that.
Records are made to be broken.
That's true, but Super Bowls.
Someone's got to break records.
Here's the record I think that every champion would rather break. I would rather win more Super Bowls than have more undefeated seasons.
Of course. But
how many Super Bowls did Dan Marino win?
That's comparing apples to oranges.
It's the Super Bowl. That's like comparing apples to diamond rings.
Of course, having multiple Super Bowls is the one that you
think
want.
The Patriots are happy?
But we're talking about one here. We're talking about one season where you didn't lose to anybody for one season. Nobody can beat you. Nobody. No coach, no player, no quarterback, no defense could beat you.
And then next year you come back and don't repeat. What is the point?
That could happen if you lose one game.
So you would be happy. Let's say you go undefeated. Last game of the season, you're up. You're about to go up 30-something to nothing, 20-something to 14 or whatever. Whatever it is, this touchdown is going to be the one. If Cam Newton and them score this game, he's out. Okay, because this game is over.
Okay.
On that play, he tears an ACL.
Okay, well, that could happen to anybody.
No. We're not talking about anybody. We're talking about the undefeated Carolina Panthers going into the playoffs. Fish, come on. Of course it could happen. I could tear my ACL right now getting up out of this chair.
Thank you.
But the point is, we're not talking about me. We're talking about Superman Dab on them boys, Cam Newton. And what we're saying is this. You have to think about this. You're an NFL coach.
Okay.
You are going to put Cam Newton in the position to tear his ACL before you go to the playoffs to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but
so you could be undefeated in the regular season.
Football players take a risk every play. Okay, that's the way it is.
Come on, man.
Undefeated, go undefeated. I guarantee you, Cam wants to go undefeated.
Of course, he wants to go undefeated. But you know
why
what?
Not happy for that?
Cam Newton's not the coach.
I bet he wants to go undefeated.
Who the coach?
Who doesn't? Riviera. He was on that 85 team. They lost one game.
Bears.
They lost one game.
Who wants to be like? Yeah, I was on the 2015-16 LA Lakers or the Philadelphia 76ers, and we lost damn near every game. Like everybody wants to go undefeated, bro. But what do you want? Here, hit me up on the Twitter. Hit him up on the Twitter. Hit me up. V777KID. That's 3 7s. KID. Which one is more important, winning a Super Bowl or being undefeated?
Being undefeated.
The Patriots tried that.
That means winning a Super Bowl. We're saying the same thing.
Let's look at this mathematically.
Let's agree to agree.
Let's look at this mathematically.
We're saying the same thing. You're saying win a Super Bowl. I'm saying go undefeated and win a Super Bowl. So
I will agree to that.
Page.
But let's agree on one thing mathematically. Statistically, as you keep winning games on the NFL stats curve, you stand a better chance to lose one. As you keep winning, especially late in the season.
Well, I don't know.
That happens every time.
I cannot confirm nor deny that stat. I'll leave it at that. I cannot confirm or deny.
When did the Patriots lose their last game?
At the Super Bowl.
Well, guess what? Statistics never cease to fail.
Well,
lost.
It's hard to do.
They lost.
It's very hard to do.
They lost. They should have rested Tom Brady because he might have been tired like Steph Curry and them on their back-to-back.
We'll see. Now, we talked about the Carolina Panthers, so what team in the NFC really is going to be the threat to them since they're going all the way?
The
but
Cardinals.
Who's going to be the toughest game?
The Arizona
Cardinals. Who's going to beat them since you said they don't need to go undefeated? Who's going to beat them?
Nobody.
Oh, you agree with me?
No, I don't. I believe that they have the ability to go undefeated. I just think that it's ridiculous to risk injury to win the Super Bowl.
So are you impressed with what the Seattle Seahawks are putting together here lately?
A late drive?
They dominated yesterday on Sunday.
Who'd they dominate?
They dominated Sunday.
Who'd they dominate?
They dominated. Hold on, I got it.
Let's look it up. Who'd they dominate? Because you know what?
They dominated Baltimore 35-6.
That's what I thought. I was like, because I don't remember them playing anybody.
Yeah.
I was like, didn't they play somebody? I was like, everybody dominated Baltimore.
Yeah,
Baltimore is not even a threat on Madden anymore.
Yeah.
They took them off this season.
Yeah.
Baltimore has been moved to the AFC South or the NFC East.
So Arizona is that next team.
I think Arizona is the next best team in the NFC. Now, granted, Arizona is going to have some competition because they're in the same division/conference as the Seahawks, but I don't think that the Seattle Seahawks have enough to beat the Arizona Cardinals. That Honey Badger is playing out of his mind on the defensive side of the ball right now. I mean, the way he's been blitzing, and I mean, he's not a slow dude.
No.
And what position does he play?
He plays everywhere.
I was going to say he plays corner, slot corner, free safety, popcorn vendor. He does it all.
Right.
That dude is amazing. Larry Fitzgerald's still playing great for a man that's pushing wide receiver retirement. Yeah. Carson Palmer's rejuvenated over there in Arizona. Hey, I'm saying the Cardinals about the only chance that they got, but I think what they aren't ready for in Arizona is Cam Newton and his mobility factor.
Yeah,
and that's what's going to play. That's what's going to play a factor. Watch out for those Packers too.
What about the AFC? I mean, we know New England is number one. Your Broncos did lose to the Raiders.
We talked about that. That was a tough loss. Okay, Raiders, division game, big time rivalry. Broncos probably haven't lost to the Raiders, and I think that one was in Oakland. I bet it's been 10 plus seasons.
It's been a long time.
10 plus seasons.
I know Peyton hasn't lost to him.
Yeah, he hasn't lost to him.
But Brock has.
Brock has. He's got one. The kid's 3-1. That's pretty good for
you still on the Brock bandwagon?
Look, I'm still on the Brock bandwagon. I heard Holmgren today say on one of the radio stations that, he would put Peyton Manning back in because, Peyton, his mind is sharp, especially. But the big thing is Peyton really healthy? Is he healthy enough to run the offense, or is he healthy enough in his mind to run the offense?
Well, he's healthy enough in his mind for sure.
And that's not.
He's always been healthy enough in his mind, but his body is not what it used to be. I mean, he admittedly said in the interview that he has no feeling in his fingertips. And as it gets cold, we start playing games in Denver and New England, all these other places.
Now,
and we know what he's done in the playoffs with, so far.
Let's think about this.
He's lost games.
Fish, have you ever thrown a football in your life?
Yes.
How much of your fingertips are actually on the football?
Oh, when you're a quarterback, you have to use your fingertips.
Because that's how
I play quarterback a little bit.
Yeah, so you got a little bit of experience.
Let me tie your shoes a little bit. So
okay.
You have to throw some of your fingertip on to get a little,
A little sick.
Yeah.
A little sick. That's how Michael Vick gets that right there. So now what I'm looking for is we're getting a lot of wounded ducks. We're getting a lot of loose spirals.
Right.
We're getting a lot of passes that are lofting, that are not getting to the receiver. Mm-hmm. That's dangerous. That's how you end up with 4 picks in Kansas City and Brock Osweiler doing your job right now.
Right.
Because it's a thing of, I agree that everyone should be a competitor. You should play tough. You should play hard. You should want to win. But at a certain point, some of these people who are great competitors don't know when to turn it off.
Yeah.
They're so, I can still do it.
Right.
I can play through this. I'll play through broken bones. Mm-hmm. But sometimes nerve damage in your fingertips is a little bit more. That's like a dentist saying, it's okay. I've got a little nerve damage in my fingertips, but let's get this root canal rolling.
Yeah.
To hell with that crap.
Right.
You ain't doing a root canal in my mouth with neuropathy in your fingertips. What's wrong with you? But now we want to let you basically run an offense that's going to give us a lot of 5-yard passes, which eventually they're going to figure that out because you can't pass deep.
Right.
Or you can't pass on a true slant route or an out route.
You're done with Manning.
If Manning has no feeling in his fingertips, Manning should be done with this. He just finished neck surgery. This man is going to risk being, what's the real smart guy that talks in a wheelchair? Stephen Hawking. He's going to be hanging out with Stephen Hawking trying to talk football. I once was a quarterback for the Denver Broncos. Broncos.
Right.
Peyton Manning, most yards thrown ever. What kind of crap is that?
Right.
What kind of life is that? You got kids, man. You got to wise up.
Right.
Be the backup for the Broncos if we need you. come in.
So you're saying make Peyton Manning the backup to Brock Osweiler?
I'm saying make Peyton Manning the backup to Brock Osweiler. If this man has no feeling in his fingertips, I'm saying we find another quarterback immediately following the conclusion of this season.
To take his place as a backup.
Yeah, basically, both of my teams are in the same position. The Broncos and the Cowboys need to be looking for quarterback longevity right now. Mm. That's what they need to be looking for in the draft.
We're going to spend some time next episode talking a lot about what the Cowboys should do, because I've got some heavy thoughts on that.
Cheers,
Osweiler did throw for 308 yards, although he had no touchdowns.
Ain't his fault. They didn't get in the end zone.
And they let Khalil Mack sack him 5 times.
That's a big boy.
By himself.
It's a big boy.
5 times.
Look, I don't blame that on Brock Osweiler all of the time. Sometimes you got to get the ball out of your hand, Brock. But that offensive line, we might have been missing some coverages. There might have been some running backs in the wrong positions. Right now, I will say we have decent running backs, but they're not the best blocking running backs when it comes to picking up coverages. Picking up blitzers. So I will say that much, but that's what we do.
All right, let's jump back into it. We're going to take a quick break. We come back. We jump into some NBA talk. The Warriors finally lose a game, and we take a look at the Mavericks and talk about this Rondo situation too.
Man, that's real. All right.
We'll get right back. Welcome back, everyone, to Omie D and Fish. I am Rodney Fisher, joined by Omie D as well. We just got through talking a little NFL, Cowboy talk. We want to remind you guys again to go to ntxgame.com to go back through all of our archives and also to really hear some live sports action as well, which this weekend we have coming up the broadcast of the Texas High School Football Championship game from Houston, Texas. I'll be there. Omie D will be there.
In the house.
We'll be on the call, so make sure you tune in for that. That's this Saturday night. And we may do a doubleheader, so just tune in and find out.
Special?
So, yeah, you never know. Let's talk some NBA stuff. I want to talk a little bit about this story that's breaking with one of our, former Maverick guard, Rajon Rondo, who basically used some gay slur at a referee. And during the game, ended up getting suspended for a game for using that slur. And now their referee has come out and told Yahoo Sports that he is, in fact, a gay man. Or, this is what I want to say about that. I think, this situation for Rondo was already bad because he got suspended for one game, right? Mm-hmm. It's kind of like the NBA taking care of it, to get it out the way. But now that he has kind of come out and said this, it's going to get even worse for Rondo.
I think so.
It's going to get worse for Rondo because now he's making a bigger social issue about it than when it was just something on the court issue.
Well, of course, he'll probably have to go through, sensitivity training.
Oh, yeah. He's going to get blasted on media.
Oh, yeah. He's going to have to
blasted.
He's going to have to go sensitivity training. He's going to have to do some public service announcements. And he's going to have to go to the scrupulous eye of the LGBT public.
Yeah.
From now on.
Right.
Anything he does.
I just thought, man, when I saw it come out of the store, I said, "Ooh, it's gonna get bad for Rondo."
I think it's
gonna get bad. I mean, because now you've got the NBA commissioner have to make a statement. Other activists are making statements.
Yeah.
It's on CNN now. It was a basketball issue.
It's become a hate crime.
It was something, right? It was something on the floor that happened. It was something on the floor that happened. Now it's become this big issue, and I'm telling you, it's gonna get bad. I would not be surprised if this has a big effect on Rondo to the point where he's gonna have to the NBA is gonna maybe have to kind of shun him off a little bit.
I think the NBA is going to have a problem with Rondo.
They can do that.
You know who else?
Make guys disappear.
You know who else is going to have a problem? That referee. I mean, let's look at what happened when Michael Sam came out. And I'm not saying that people should not be open with who they are.
Right.
Not at all. But when he came out, his draft stock fell.
Right.
And this is just, I'm not blaming that on who he is as a person.
You're looking at what happens.
I'm looking at what happened in society, how society handled it.
Right. And
his draft stock fell. The odds of him being a starter fell. Him actually making a practice squad fell. Now he was this first round linebacker that was an awesome player and might still be the awesome player.
Right.
But a lot of NFL teams don't want to deal with certain issues.
Right.
And I'm not saying issues in a negative way, but certain issues like domestic violence is an issue that people are willing to take on in a public eye.
Right.
And
it will get you blackballed.
It will get you blackballed depending on what you do. Look at Ray Rice.
There's video. That's
video.
The difference.
But I think it's kind of a thing of, and this is a person's life is their life. What they do on the football field should not be reflective, or what they do in the regular life should not reflect what they do with their normal job.
Right.
And I just think that with him coming out, especially to Yahoo Sports, like, what is the whole point of coming out to the entire public? Like, I have to admit this, like, you've committed a felonious act of embezzlement.
Right.
To this. Now people know more about your private life than you probably really wanted people to know about anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not a homosexual male, but I date women, and I don't really like everybody knowing who I date.
Right.
I kind of like to keep people out of my business for certain reasons. And now this guy has subjected himself to good and bad media, probably good and bad letters in the mailbox.
Right.
He might find a mate.
So there's really
he might find a soulmate after this.
Right. But the situation's becoming something too big. It's becoming
something that we're going to have to address, and it's going to be becoming something that next season in the NBA, there's going to be something else that we're going to do to bring awareness to the fact that this happened. And I don't think that this is an NBA issue.
Right.
I don't think Rondo really meant it to be like this humongous attack against the LGBT community.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it was, and I don't know what the exact terms or things that he said was, but I just think it just might have been a heated, he had a little bit of inside information about a dude, and just on the court kind of things, and dude might have been like, you ain't getting that call. He might have said something a little fly to Rondo, like a referee does to control the game. And Rondo, being who we seen Rondo be here in Dallas, he just was not having it. So he might have said something a little fly off the cut that was a little bit inappropriate, but he figured it's on the court, it wouldn't have got off.
Right.
But not in this day and age.
Yeah,
anything. Yeah.
You saying something to somebody is assault. Now people look at that nowadays as assault, but you just saying something or making a comment about something. So that it's just getting too big, and I can only imagine what's going to happen as the days go on, and this gets out more and more and more, and becomes a bigger topic.
Oh, CNN's got it. It's
yeah.
There's going to be somebody's going to make a big point.
So let's talk about his former team, the Dallas Mavericks, because me and you had a chance to go see them live and in person, and they come back. They were 14-9 when they headed back on this home 3-game home stretch, and they leave this home stretch at 14-11. I'm sorry, 14-11, because they did get 1 win and 2 losses.
Mm-hmm.
So, from what you saw with this team, we saw Chandler Parsons have 17 points last night, but we saw him look terrible in the other 2 games. From what you see with this team, I mean, are they really overachieving like you think, or is this just kind of something that's just very, very early?
I think
Maybe
it's
too early.
I think it's very early. I'm not going to say this team is overachieving. They're definitely not the Golden State Warriors by any means. I mean, they've lost 11 games, but they've won 14. You're almost 500 on the season. But what I did see was some glimmers of hope with some talent like Matthews, able to have another great game against the Wizards.
Mm-hmm.
We did see some lack of defense from people like Zaza Pachulia.
Right.
And we did see a almost 7-minute stretch of Coach Carlisle putting the Mavericks in a small ball situation.
Yeah, what do you think about that?
You can't do that when you have a guy like Gortat playing down low. Mm-hmm. And then not only that, but you had John Wall and Otto Porter Jr. that were just on rolls. Like,
the thing about his small ball that he's trying to play is there's no one out there to defend the perimeter when he plays small ball. I mean, Devin Harris has had some flashes of real defense, but I don't see him playing defense. I don't see Darren Williams playing defense. I don't see Raymond Felton playing defense.
No, they don't have any defensive dogs.
JJ Barea is not playing defense. So who's guarding that perimeter when you go small like that?
Nobody. You're really just hoping, and this is what the Wizards were able to do. They were able to move the ball around the perimeter faster than the Mavericks were able to get there, which is good old-fashioned basketball.
Right.
But they were able to do that because they were utilizing Gortat to run the offense down and around and passing the ball and getting it back down to the perimeter, because once the Mavs came down to defend inside the paint, they were able to kick it out, dish, and put up the shot. And so that's what I do see. Like, you do have people that are there, but I just don't think the Mavericks right now have the right combination of people to put on the floor at the right times.
So yeah, and I agree with you 100% on that, because the worst could happen, and I don't want to scare Maverick fans out there, but this is just me talking based on what I've seen, based on the people I know, but based on the way things have gone the last few years. End of this season, Darren Williams could opt out. He could be gone. Chandler Parsons could opt out. He could be gone. Raymond Felton's on his last year. You could be really pushing the restart button all over again at the end of the season. So I'm really watching this team very, very closely, right? Because I don't know if this team is going to be together next year. I don't know if this is their only shot. I think once the players realize or make the decision in their mind that they're not going to be here next year, this thing is going to go south quick.
And that's the problem.
And that's what's happened the last few years.
Yeah.
Because there's no guarantees. And none of the guys have had guarantees.
Nobody's a long-term player. Nobody's anyone that's come off of the draft or come out of the D-League.
Right.
And other than Dirk, nobody's really just been the guy. And I'm not saying that Dirk is taking up space like Kobe, because we've seen Dirk take numerous pay cuts.
Right.
We've seen him take cuts in hours, time on the court, minutes on the court to make this team better. I think we might see that again next season. Dirk to get some talent in here, but I just think if he's here, I just think you are right though, Fish. We are heading for a major reset.
Yeah.
And we might have a couple of those rough New Orleans Pelican seasons down in the bottom. But, I think Mark Cuban is too much of a competitive owner to stay down in the bottom too long. I think he's going to find some ways to find some money, manipulate some contracts, and get some people here. But do we have a chance? Do I think this team has a chance to win the finals right now, looking at it?
I think they have a chance to squeeze into the playoffs, because I think right now they're the 5th seed, but I don't know if they can hold their position. I think they'll squeeze in 7 or 8 seed like I originally thought. The problem I have, though, I really think they need to be thinking about trading.
Right now before?
I think so. I think, the stock on Darren Williams is going to be pretty high. I mean, he's played very well. but I think they should really think about trading because I don't see this team winning a title.
No.
I don't see this team winning a title.
No.
I see them doing exactly what some of the teams have done over the last few years, and that's get to the first round and lose.
I can see that again.
At that AC, they're going to play Golden State. They're going to get torched because they can't go out the perimeter.
Oh, yeah, that'll be
Or they're going to play San Antonio, who's too big for them.
And they'll just run the ball slowly and beat them.
So San Antonio, that's a good segue because I want to spend some time talking about them. They're second in the West right now. There are 21-5. To put that in perspective, okay, the Golden State Warriors are 24-1, and the fourth place Clippers are literally 9 games behind them in fourth place, and the Spurs are 21-5, only 3 games back.
But you know what? The problem
they're running away with it too. People don't forget that, but they're winning
you know
like crazy too.
Because San Antonio is a terrible media market. Half the people couldn't point out San Antonio on a map in Texas anywhere. If you just gave them a map of Texas and say, point out San Antonio, and gave them 3 stars, they would all probably point to Austin. Like, when was the last time you heard? Yeah. When was the last time you heard anything? We live here in Dallas, Fish. When was the last time you heard any news out of San Antonio other than the Spurs?
No, not much.
We're in Dallas. We don't even hear Spurs news on a daily basis.
Right.
Like there's the Spurs are such a vanilla, cream of wheat, plain Jane, Sarah plain and tall team. They don't care about major media like that.
Right.
And it's almost to the point that it's divisive because nobody gets to get a good look at this team until they go play someone that is on a major media market like a Cleveland or somebody. But they're really just kind of running down around the West Coast, Phoenix, New Orleans, they'll play Golden State every now and then. They'll play the Mavs and we'll get a good look at them, right quick. But they just quietly do what they're going to do. And then they get to the playoffs, bro. And once again, Popovich has people on that team that you've never heard of.
Right.
And you don't even know where did they find people to put on the D League in San Antonio?
Right.
And he's just got quiet assassins every time. I don't think they're able to beat Golden State this year because I just don't see that team being able to keep up with the pace. But
I think they have a chance. I think they have. I think if any team has a chance to beat them, it's got to be the San Antonio Spurs because you look at their starting 5, they're going to be bigger down low. Tim Duncan, LaMarcus Aldridge. They can put David West in. And then you got Kawhi Leonard, who is probably the best perimeter defender in the NBA right now.
Yeah, he's got great defense.
I mean, just like Steph is MVP, Kawhi Leonard's putting together a pretty good season as well, too.
And he'll play
and offensively also.
He'll play, and the thing is, if you can play Steph Curry tight, he's very ineffective as a shooter.
Well, that's the only thing you can do.
Yeah.
He's a great shooter. I mean, but the only thing you can do is play him close. That's the only thing you can do.
But you're going to leave somebody else open. And the Splash Brothers. So, I mean, that's one of those things you got to see. Can you play 6 games of taking Steph Curry away and letting the rest of the team beat you? That's a huge, huge, huge thing. And you have to think, let's look at Steph Curry as a basketball player. I think he learned a huge lesson last year from the finals of those 2 games where he played against the little Australian dude and he was all over him like fleas on an ugly dog.
Right.
I think he learned some things from that. And Steph Curry is a dangerous player because as you've seen, his statistics have improved since last year. He's going to work as soon as he finishes what he gets done. So although I think the Spurs are a quality team out of the West, they are the only team that I see that has a chance to beat Golden State. I just don't think they have the firepower if it goes beyond 6 games to keep up.
I think they do.
I think Tim Duncan's done. I think he's the weakest link in the chain right now.
Yeah, but you got LaMarcus Aldridge. That's what you have to remember. They've got other players that they can put in. They got David West. They got other guys they can work in.
Still, Golden State looks unstoppable. They look like the Carolina Panthers.
And I'm looking here at the Spurs schedule. I'm trying to see when do they actually match up with the Golden State. I think Monday, January 25th.
Yeah,
will be the first time, and that's in Oakland.
That'll be a loss for the Spurs.
That's in Oakland, so we get a chance to see how this team matches
January
up.
January 25. That's what day? Sunday?
That's a Monday.
So we'll be able to talk about that Tuesday on the show.
We sure will.
That'll be awesome.
We sure will.
I'm going to go ahead and say that we are going to win as the Golden State Warriors.
We'll see. But I just want to point out the Spurs and give them a little props because they're flying under the radar, doing everything right, and they're running away with that second place spot. Running away with it, man.
Yeah, it's great to run away with number 2.
Absolutely. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Omie D and Fish on ntxgame.com. Everyone to Omie D and Fish. I'm Rodney Fisher. I'm joined by Omie D. Again, want to remind you that these opinions, these sports topics, these sports, everything are coming to you from the south side of the Trinity River. Make sure you go to ntxgame.com and download the podcast, or go to iTunes or wherever you may go to get your podcast. And make sure you follow us on Twitter. Follow Omie D at the777kid. Follow me at Rodney R. Fisher, or just follow us at NTX Game. So, wrapping up our show, we're going to get into some quick bowl game picks. We do this every year, right?
Yeah.
Well, it's the first year, so I guess
Hold on. We got to set it up.
Ladies and gentlemen. And with that said, we've got to get into our crystal balls and everything else and make our predictions for this first week of bowl games starting on December 19th. A few games we got to pick. So, Omie D, I'm going to give you the honors, Mr. Tailgate State.
Hold on, we're going to set it up one more. Look, I completely hate USC, but I love their fight song. It's so awesome. Look, it is by far my most second favorite part of the year, other than the beginning of college football season. It's college bowl season, and the good Lord has blessed me with a vacation of 3 weeks, and I'm going to get to watch every freaking college bowl game there is. Ain't nothing getting me off the couch unless I'm going to a bowl game to check it out. So look, it's going to be one heck of a wild ride. Make sure you check me out on Twitter, the777kid, tweeting all college bowl season, telling you who's going to be a number 1 draft pick, who the Cowboys should probably pick up as a quarterback, who the Broncos should probably pick up as a running back. I'm going to be all over college football like Ugly on the 8th. I am so excited, and it kicks off this Saturday. Be there with the first game kicking off at noon, the Air Force Reserve Celebration Bowl. As we've always said, there's a lot of bowls going on, and this one is going to be Alcorn State versus North Carolina A&T.
Hold on. Can I stop you for a second, Mr. Tailgate State?
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to make a simple observation, okay?
Yeah.
Alcorn State versus North Carolina A&T. Alcorn just won the SWAC title.
Yeah.
North Carolina A&T is the MEAC title. Both HBCUs, correct?
Yeah.
this was called the Celebration Bowl, but why is Air Force Reserve the sponsor? How come it always seems like those type of organizations sponsor these HBCU type events? I'm just a social commentary, I guess. Air Force Reserve, huh?
Tuskegee?
I'm just saying it seems like they're trying to get a lot of us to
Tuskegee situation?
into the reserve situation. That's all I'm going to say. Oh. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right on. Alcorn State versus North Carolina A&T by the Air Force Reserve Celebration. Make sure you sign up today. If you're not me, you should go to the Air Force Reserves. Anyway, Alcorn State did win the SWAC, so I'm going to go Alcorn State. They had an impressive win all over Grambling State, who used to be like really big, right, and they would come to the state fair and win all the time.
I'm going with Alcorn State too.
Yeah,
I like that too.
Let's go Gildan, New Mexico Bowl. This bowl it's early in the bowl season, yes, which is amazing, but it's a very popular, it's an older bowl. Mm-hmm. But it's the Gildan, New Mexico Bowl, and of course, Arizona is going to play New Mexico in Albuquerque, and I'm going to go with Arizona in that one.
Yeah, I'm taking Arizona as well too.
Yeah, this looks like a good one, too. Now, the Royal Purple Las Vegas Bowl, this one came out in the 90s. I don't really know about it, but, we'll talk about it anyway. BYU versus Utah. This one is completely West Coast right there. We know where all the people are going to be from. I mean, it's practically this.
Yeah, they're right next to each other.
They should have just put the game in Utah.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah, but Utah today got, I think, 9 inches of snow.
Oh, well, let's move it to Las Vegas. But I'm going to roll with BYU over that. The Utah Utes had a decent season this year, but I think BYU really wants to make a statement, so we're going to have to roll with BYU.
Well, the Utes are the first ranked team to have a bowl game, and I'm going to go with Utah.
You're going to go with the Utes?
I'm going with the Utes.
I think it's going to be a battle over the state right here, so I'm going to go with the Cougs. They started off the year strong, and right now they're looking to get some people to come play for BYU. This is what you do in a bowl game. Let's roll on. Raycom Media Camellia Bowl?
Right.
Camellia Bowl? Chamomile Bowl? I have no idea what the hell that is.
Well, it's Appalachian State versus Ohio.
Those are two teams that play in two divisions that nobody ever really watches. I'm going to have to go with Appalachian State.
Give me Ohio.
You're going to take Ohio. I'm going Appalachian State. Let's go App. Let's see if they can shock the Bobcats of Ohio. And the Cure Bowl. Don't know who this is.
Auto Nation.
Oh, Auto Nation. Cure. What are they curing? Anybody know?
Lots of things.
There we go. Yeah. Cure people. We need that. San Jose State versus Georgia State. I'm going to go Georgia State.
I'm going to go San Jose.
Don't just pick against me because I'm always right.
I'm going San Jose State.
You're going to go San Jose State. I'm going Georgia State. Big shout out to Georgia State. I know the AD down there, the head AD. Shout out. He's a Twitter follower of mine. What's going on, my man? RL Carriers New Orleans Bowl. Yes. Matter of fact, if they win the Cure Bowl, I'm going to see if we can get the AD to come on the show on Tuesday. Right. Remind me. He'll call in. He's a cool guy.
Well, he can still come if San Jose State wins. I'll tell him about that.
Okay. Yeah.
He can come either way.
I probably want to invite him if that's the case. Okay. We'll do him like
we'll
do him like Carlisle. We'll talk to him if he loses. And so the one, the only RL Carriers New Orleans Bowl, Arkansas State versus Louisiana La Tech.
Come on now.
I'm gonna go with the Bulldogs.
I'm going the same thing.
You're gonna go La Tech.
I got to.
All right.
I mean, it's right there in New Orleans.
It's right there.
Home game.
Arkansas State, they got to travel from some pine trees. And then on the 21st, this is the last one we're going to give you because it's the 21st, and that's the Monday. And then the rest of them we'll talk about on Tuesday because it's going to be a lot of games on Tuesday when we do the next show.
Yeah, we got to go and pick those too.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, let's do 21st, Miami Beach Bowl, Western Kentucky versus South Florida.
It's in Miami Park in Miami.
Yeah, I'm going to go Western Kentucky.
I'm going to go South Florida.
You're going to go South Florida?
South Florida.
Go Western Kentucky. Let's go 22nd. This will be the day of the show. The famous Idaho Potato Bowl. This one's at 3:30.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we'll get to talk about that one before the show.
Got it.
And then there's one at 7 p.m. that'll be going on during the show. I'm going to get the Watch ESPN set up on the computer so we can check it out live on the show. Number 1, Boise, Idaho, famous Idaho Potato Bowl, Akron versus Utah State.
Akron.
I'm going Zips too. I'm going to go Akron. Even though it's going to be almost a home game for Utah State.
I'm going Akron.
And I love Boise, Idaho. Great place up there. It's a Smurf turf. Check it out. 3:30 p.m. December 22nd. And the Marmot Boca Raton Bowl in Boca Raton, Florida. Toledo versus Temple.
Temple.
I'm going Temple.
Going Temple.
Owls all the way. I don't think Toledo has a chance. And this one, it'll be on ESPN. We'll be watching the action for you right here on Omie D and Fish here on ntxgame.com. So that's what we got rolling until December 22nd. Then we'll call the rest of the games, the 23rd, all the way until New Year's, until we crown a champion. Check it out. Tailgate State, Omie D, the 777 kid. Hit me up. Let's be friends.
Let's be friends. We thank y'all for tuning in. Go back and download the show on iTunes or download it on Blog Talk Radio, Spreaker, anywhere and everywhere at ntxgame.com. We'll see you guys next week for another episode of Omie D and Fish, and we out.